Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Jordans. I'm usually the professor for this course, the PsyA01 course. I'm on sabbatical this term. And because I'm on sabbatical, Dwayne Paré, my buddy, is taking over the course and teaching the course this term. But he also allowed me to kind of bring in a project that is really sort of near and dear to my heart. It's a project that changes every year. The topic changes every year, but the basic idea of the project remains the same. And, this project is really intended to do a number of things. So, first of all, it utilizes what we call experiential learning or work integrated learning. And the idea there is it's all fine to do projects where you're just writing something and it goes to a professor and it's graded and then it disappears, right? But when you're working on a project that addresses an issue that really matters, and if your work could really matter, if it could really make a difference in some way, well, then it's so much easier to really get into that work, to become engaged, and that's when the real learning happens. And so we like a project at the end of the year where you're going to work just on that, on a real world problem. And I'm happy to tell you what your problem is. We're going to lay it out in a little more detail in a video. But if you watch sports at all, and if you don't, if you have any friends that ask sports, you just ask them, you will notice that now people are being just bombarded with ads encouraging them to gamble on sports with all of these sports betting apps. And we know from psychology that this is very dangerous, that it's very easy to become psychologically addicted to something like sports gambling. And because that psychological addiction means you're spending all your money, it can ruin your life. It can have very dramatic effects. And of course, along the way, the person also goes through denial and lies to everybody that no, they don't have an issue and everything's fine. And at some point, it all comes crashing down. So now, of course, this doesn't happen to all sports gamblers. There's a lot of people who are able to gamble on sports and do it fine, but there are a significant proportion of so-called problem gamblers where sports gambling ruins their life, quite literally. And so there's a group, and I'm sort of one of the voices of this group that are trying to encourage the Canadian government to ban the marketing of sports gambling. Just like cigarettes, no ads on TV, no pushing it on people. Still have it legal, but don't push it as hard as they are. Okay, so that's an issue that's out there now. There's these new rules about marketing sports gambling, and now there's this group of us that are trying to push back, and we would like your help. So, just to give you a sense, what are you going to do in this project? What you're ultimately going to do is work with 3 others. It's a teamwork project. I'll tell you why in a second. But you're going to pretend you're kind of a marketing company. We are going to present the problem and the issue in a lot more detail. So there will be a video where Bruce Kidd and I lay this all out for you, tell you the efforts that are underway, talk about it all. And we will be your external entity. We are this outside the university real world entity that's trying to make a real world difference. And we want you to imagine that your group is a marketing company that we've come to, and we're asking for your help to reach some target market. Perhaps for you guys, think of younger people. Think of, people who are just getting to the age where they can start betting. Maybe these are the people you want to reach. But whoever you want to reach, that's okay. What we ask you to do is to come up with some sort of ad, some sort of public service announcement. Something that is meant to inform people about the dangers of sports gambling and to make them think about it. That's what we really want to do, is provoke thought. And hopefully, maybe even convince them to our side of the cause and to convince them to become part of the effort to ban the marketing of sports gambling. Okay, so we've come to you. We've said, can you please kind of produce something? And it can be anything. Okay, it can be an ad that's on a bus as the bus drives by. It can be social media posts, something you think up for TikTok, some sort of challenge or whatnot. Just think of it as a marketing campaign where the goal is to reach people and make them think about this issue. Okay, and so you're going to work in groups of 4. You're going to produce a PSA as a group. You're going to submit it. And then you guys are going to be judges of each other's work. You're going to enter a round of peer assessment, like what you experienced already in Peer Scholar, and we will be using Peer Scholar to do this. But it'll be a little different. In this case, you will see the actual work that some other teams submitted. You will see the PSAs, and we're going to ask you to judge those PSAs, first of all, by applying a rubric to them, and this rubric will be available here on Quarkus. And then from those rubric ratings, we're going to be able to find the best PSAs, the top 10 we'll talk about, okay? And these top 10 are going to now go on to the organization that's trying to ban the marketing of sports gambling, who will look at the top 10, judge them, and then, quite potentially run with some of your PSAs, working with you, of course, because they're your intellectual property, but they're going to check them out. We're going to pick a number 1, number 2, number 3, but this is also going to connect you, the top 10 winners, with that organization, and yeah, your ads could end up getting out there, so to speak. And by the way, they can get out there anyway because you can share them anytime if you're proud of them, and I hope you will be proud of them. Okay, so I threw a whole lot at you there. One of the things I snuck in was teams. Why are we making you work as teams? We really care about you developing what we call interpersonal skills. The ability to work with other human beings, to collaborate, is critical to success at university and beyond university. And so it's really important to start learning how to do that. Now, if any of you have worked in teams before, you might have had bad experiences. You might have said, yeah, but it never works. It's always a mess. And sometimes it is a mess. And I believe that's often because you are not properly prepared. You are not told, first of all, what's the value of learning to work as a team? What are the challenges? Why is it so hard? And then critically, how do you meet those challenges? What are some tips and strategies that your team can use to keep everything going well? We're going to have videos, and the videos will be in the link here, that address those 3 issues. And it's our experience that when the team watches those videos ahead of time, things tend to go smoothly. They tend to go quite well. So that's part of what we're trying to do here. We're doing teamwork at scale, right? There's going to be 400 plus teams. But we believe if you're prepared well and if you're supported throughout, you will have a positive teamwork experience. Heck, the people in your team could become your future significant other. Maybe they bring a job opportunity to you. You don't know. When you meet these people you don't know, good things can happen, especially if you can all get along and work together well. So that's part of the whole teamwork idea here. All right. There will be some documents here that kind of lay out exactly, what the challenge is, as I've described to you, and how the process works. I've given you the rough sense already, but check out the documents for a more precise idea. But the more general idea is there's a lot of people being hurt by current the marketing of sports gambling. A lot of people being convinced or cajoled into betting money they really don't have. And we are going to try to make people a little more aware of those dangers. And heck, we may even be able to change the law around the marketing of sports gambling. And that's the real big thing I want you to get from these projects. I want you to realize that through your education and through your commitment, you can change the world. And that sounds grandiose, but it's not meant to sound grandiose. In fact, I want it to not sound grandiose. I want it to sound matter of fact. I think it was Marie Angelou, I can't remember. Somebody said, if you don't like the way the world is, fix it. Okay, don't complain, fix it. So if you see something, I want you to feel empowered. I want you to say, hey, you know what? Our class helped to change the rules around how sports gambling can be marketed. And I want you to realize you have that power. Working with others, it always takes a team. But you can be part of that team and you can make a difference. And that's what I really want these work integrated learning projects to convey to you. that you are becoming wiser. You're learning more. Your skill set is increasing. But along with that comes a little bit of responsibility. Wow, I sound like Spider-Man now. But it does. And the responsibility is society needs you and needs your help. And yeah, so I just want you to know, if you ever think, wow, I wish something was some other way, if you care enough, if it's a deep enough issue for you, become part of making it that other way. You can do it. I want you to feel that empowerment. Okay, so that's the idea. Cool. Check out all the documents here for more details. You'll see there's going to be another video with Bruce Kidd and I. Bruce Kidd used to be, by the way, a principal at UTSC, also an Olympian. He's the one really leading the charge on this, so you'll hear from Bruce directly, and we'll really lay out the challenge for you. Bruce and I are actually going to come to your class on November 17th to talk about this all a little bit more. And of course, Bruce and I will be part of the judging panel to pick the top 10 at the end. So I'm hoping throughout this project you get to know us a little bit, you get to feel our passion for this topic, and I hope some of it becomes contagious, and that some of you kind of join the charge. Cool. I think that's all I got for you now. So I'll leave it there. Hey, I really hope you embrace this, and I really hope it's a great experience for you. Alrighty? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.